All right, so I think this is recording. Let's take a look here at number 2. We have two rational expressions. We're dividing these rational expressions and want us to express our answer as a single rational expression and to also state any restrictions that we have. Well, with arithmetic, restrictions come that we can't take the square root of a negative number. Well, we don't have any square roots, but we can't divide by 0. So if we have a variable in a denominator, there exists the possibility of having a 0 in the denominator, so we have to state our restrictions on any variables that are in the denominator. And with division, we do this at 2 points. We do it at the beginning of the problem, and then in the middle of the problem, we have to change the division to multiplication, and the divisor, we take the reciprocal, we flip it. Well, when you flip a fraction, you're getting a new denominator, and that new denominator may or may not have a variable and stuff. It might introduce more restrictions. All right, so let's start by looking at this and stating a restriction. We see a factor of a in the denominator, and we know that if a were allowed to equal 0, we would have 9 times 0 is 0, and we would have a 0 in the denominator. So we wouldn't be able to change it to multiplication. We wouldn't be able to flip it because we have a 0 in the denominator, and that's undefined. All right, so with that restriction, however, we can write this division problem as a multiplication problem. We can change the division to multiplication and rewrite the second fraction as 9a divided by 6. We still have our restriction that a can't be 0, and we look now and we have a new numerator, but we don't have any variables in the denominator, so that does not introduce any new restrictions. All we need to do now is to write these two fractions as a single fraction by multiplying the two numerators together and multiplying the two denominators together. So let's write this as 7 times 9a and 18 times 6. Of course, our restriction comes along for the ride with each step. All right, so actually, rather than multiplying these together, I'm actually going to factor things because I'm going to look and see if there's any common factors between the numerator and denominator, and that's easiest to see if everything has been completely factored. The 7 is prime. 9 can be written as 3 times 3. I have a single factor of a, and there's my numerator. In the denominator, 18 can be written as 2 times 9, and 9 can be written as 3 times 3. So 2 times 3 times 3 is 18. 6 can be written as 2 times 3. All right, let's look and see, and now that everything's in completely factored form, are there any common factors between the numerator and denominator? There's a 7 in the numerator, but no 7 in the denominator. There's a factor of 3 in the numerator, so I can cancel that with 1 in the denominator. And there's a second factor of 3 in both the numerator and denominator. And there's this variable a, well, I don't see an a in the denominator that it can cancel with. So my fraction in lowest terms has a numerator of 7 times a and a denominator of 2 times 2 times 3. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 3 is 12. So there's our result from division. And of course, it may not equal that if we don't adhere to the restriction. Our restriction was that a cannot be 0. So that is my final answer. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and I will talk to you later. Bye.